The $3.2 million. That's what I didn't tell my daughter-in-law about. I'm Jaden Webster, and when my son Nathan died 8 months ago, I made a choice that would save my family. I kept his inheritance secret from his wife, Rebecca. Why? Because within weeks of his funeral, she started charging me to see my own grandchildren, $5,000 a month. For their well-being, she'd text. What she didn't know was that Nathan had prepared for this. A trust fund, video evidence, and specific instructions. Don't tell her, Dad, not until she shows her true colors. She showed them in spectacular fashion. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you're watching from, because keeping that secret turned out to be the smartest decision I ever made. This is the story of how my silence became my weapon, and how my son protected his children from beyond the grave. The call came on January 15th, 2020. Nathan's voice was steady, like he was discussing code instead of cancer. Dad, it's a glioblastoma, stage 4. I drove 12 miles to his house in under 10 minutes. When I walked in, Rebecca was already redecorating his diagnosis. We need positivity, she announced, blocking my hug. No crying, no negativity. It affects his healing vibration. Nathan squeezed my hand. That squeeze said everything her crystals couldn't. For the first month, I visited daily. I'd bring his favorite submarine sandwich from Gino's. Turkey, no mayo, extra pickles. We'd watch Yankees games on his laptop while Rebecca attended her manifestation circles. But by February, the visits changed. Your energy is too heavy, Rebecca informed me one Tuesday. She stood in the doorway like a bouncer. The healing coach says Nathan needs to be surrounded only by high-frequency people. I'm his father, and your fear is toxic. She actually had a laminated chart showing how my aura was interfering with his treatment. Price of the coaching sessions? $400 each, twice weekly. The restrictions multiplied. March. I could only visit Wednesdays, 2 hours maximum. April. Visits required 48 hours notice. May. I needed Rebecca's written approval. I have every text saved. March 3rd. Not today. Nathan needs rest. March 10th. Your last visit upset him. March 17th. The medicine makes him sensitive to your energy. Lies. All lies. Because Nathan started calling me from the hospital bathroom. Dad, his whisper came through at midnight on April 2nd. I miss you. She won't let me use my phone. I'm hiding in the bathroom. Those stolen calls became our lifeline. 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there. He'd update me on treatment. Tell me about the kids. Rebecca had convinced them Grandpa was too sad to visit. I tried to explain, Nathan said during one call, but she threatens to take the kids to her mother's if I argue. The worst part? I could hear Emma in the background sometimes. Is that Grandpa? Can I talk to Grandpa? And Nathan having to lie. No, sweetie. It's just the nurse. By June, even bathroom calls stopped. Rebecca had hired a healing companion to monitor him 24/7. Cost? $3,500 a week. Not covered by insurance, naturally. I kept paying for groceries, sending gift awards, offering help, each rejected with surgical precision. We're managing fine, she'd text. Your money has negative energy attached. Funny how my money's energy improved after Nathan died. The last time I saw my son alive was June 28th. Rebecca allowed a 15-minute visit because the social worker at the hospital strongly suggested it. Nathan could barely speak, but he gripped my hand and mouthed 3 words. Take care of them. I nodded, made the promise, had no idea what keeping it would cost. He died July 18th, 2024, at 3:47 a.m. Rebecca called at 9:30 a.m., not to inform me my son had passed 6 hours earlier, but to ask if I could cover the premium funeral package. The recording device, I started carrying it that day, because something in her voice, talking about bronze versus copper caskets while Nathan's body was still warm, told me I'd need evidence. I just didn't know evidence of what. Nathan's funeral felt like attending my own erasure. Rebecca orchestrated every detail to minimize my existence. The program listed me as Jaden Webster in size 8 font, buried under her extended family tree. She seated me in row 5. behind her yoga instructor. The immediate family sits in front, she explained, guiding her mother to my son's casket. The immediate family apparently included her book club, but not the man who taught Nathan to ride a bike. When it came time for eulogies, I waited. Rebecca spoke for 20 minutes about their journey. Her sister shared a poem about butterflies. Her mother read from Eat, Pray, Love. Time constraints, the funeral director whispered when I stood. Mrs. Webster scheduled precisely. I sat back down, swallowed 40 years of memories, watched strangers comfort my grandchildren while I sat 5 rows back like a distant acquaintance. But the real performance started at the reception. "Jaden," Rebecca's voice carried across the room. "Could you help with something?" She led me to the kitchen, past photos of Nathan where I'd been carefully cropped out. "The children are struggling. They need stability." She pulled out her phone, showed me a Venmo screen. "Therapy isn't cheap. $2,000 would help us get through this month." $2,000. My son's body wasn't even in the ground, and she was already calculating my grief's market value. "Of course," I said. "Sent it immediately. For Emma and Liam." "The children need to know you care," she added, watching the payment process. "But actions speak louder than words, don't they?" That evening, my phone rang. Charles Morrison, Nathan's college roommate, now an estate attorney. "Jaden, we need to meet. Urgently. It's about Nathan." "Tomorrow?" "Tonight. My office. Bring identification." The 40-minute drive to Charles's office felt like crossing into another dimension. The building was empty except for security. Charles waited in his conference room with coffee and a manila folder that would change everything. "Nathan came to me in January," he began, "right after his diagnosis. Rebecca mentioned he updated his will." Charles's expression tightened. "She doesn't know about this meeting, or this." He slid the folder across the table. "Nathan sold his company 6 months ago." "Data sync?" "But he couldn't. Rebecca was already spending based on projected valuations. Nathan wanted to secure the children's future without her interference." Inside the folder, contracts, bank statements, trust documents. Data sync acquired for $8.2 million. Nathan's share, $3.2 million. "He created an irrevocable trust," Charles continued, "for Emma and Liam with very specific conditions." My hands shook reading the terms. Money for education, healthcare, housing, all requiring trustee approval. The trustee? Me. Rebecca gets nothing. She gets what Nathan left in the will. The house, cars, savings, about $300,000 total. Charles leaned forward. "But Jaden, there's more. Page 12. Page 12 contained a sealed letter. Nathan's handwriting. "Dad, open only if she denies you access to Emma and Liam." "He knew," I whispered. "He knew enough." Charles's voice carried years of legal weight. "Nathan made me promise to protect this until you needed it. He said you'd know when." I left with the folder. The letter stayed sealed. That night, I stared at it until dawn, hearing Nathan's voice. "Take care of them." 2 weeks later, Rebecca's second request arrived. $3,000. Grief counseling for the children. I paid and started documenting, because my promise to Nathan was becoming a test of how much I'd endure for 10 minutes with my grandchildren. The letter remained sealed, waiting. August became the month I learned my value. $2,000 bought a supervised McDonald's visit. $3,000 earned an hour at the park. By September, inflation hit the grandparent market. "Things are tight," Rebecca explained during one exchange. She'd suggested Starbucks, public enough I couldn't make a scene. "Brandon says I'm too generous with visitation." Brandon, the family friend who'd materialized 3 weeks after Nathan's funeral. $5,000, she continued, stirring her caramel macchiato. "Monthly, direct to my account. Then we can establish a regular schedule." $5,000, more than my pension. But Emma's birthday was coming, and I hadn't seen her since July. I opened Venmo, typed the amount, added the note she dictated, "For the children's enrichment." "Perfect." She screenshot the payment. "You can come to her party. 2 hours, bring a gift under $50. We don't want to spoil them." The party invitation never came. When I texted, Rebecca responded with a photo of Emma blowing out candles. Sorry, intimate family only. Brandon's parents were in town. The pattern crystallized with surgical precision. Payment on the 1st. Promises of visits by the 5th. Excuses by the 10th. New financial crisis by the 20th. Emotional manipulation by the 25th. Liam asked why Grandpa doesn't love him anymore. Became her favorite weapon. Always delivered via text. Always after I questioned a canceled visit. I screenshot everything. Saved every Venmo receipt. The notes evolved from subtle to shameless. August, children's wellness support. September, maintaining family stability. October, grandparent access fee. November, holiday visitation premium. $5,000 became the base rate. Special occasions cost extra. Thanksgiving? $7,000. It's a difficult time for us. Christmas morning? 10,000 shows you really care. But the real damage happened in person. Those rare purchased hours with my grandchildren revealed Rebecca's true expertise, psychological warfare. Mom says you're sick, 8-year-old Liam announced during a December playground visit. That's why you can't see us much. I'm not sick, buddy. She says you have sad sickness. It might be catching. Emma, 2 years older, watched everything with Nathan's eyes. Mom says if you really loved us, you'd help more. Brandon helps every day. Brandon, who drove Nathan's car, who wore Nathan's watch, who'd moved into Nathan's house in October, while Rebecca posted Instagram tributes to her forever love. I love you both more than all the stars, I told them. Same words I'd told Nathan at their age. Then why don't you show it? Emma's question came wrapped in Rebecca's coaching. Actions matter more than words. The playground visit ended early. Rebecca arrived with Brandon, claiming a scheduling mix-up. As they loaded the kids into Nathan's car, now with Brandon's golf clubs in the back, Rebecca pulled me aside. They're forming new attachments, she said. Healthy ones. Maybe it's time to consider what's best for them. Which is? Stability. Brandon's discussing adoption. It would simplify everything. Adoption. 9 months after burying my son. That night, I found Nathan's laptop in my garage. He'd left it there during his last visit, hidden behind paint cans. Keep this safe, he'd said, just in case. I powered it on. His password hadn't changed. Emma's birthday, backwards. The search history told a story Rebecca never wanted public. Legal sites about parental alienation, forms for fathers denied access, articles about financial abuse in marriages, and emails. Dozens of emails to Charles Morrison, dating back 2 years before his diagnosis. The subject lines formed their own narrative. She's monitoring my calls. Can't access joint account. Need advice. Custody questions. Is recording legal in Colorado? The final email sent 2 days before his diagnosis. If something happens to me, protect my kids from her. Dad will need proof. I closed the laptop, opened my phone, started typing a message to Charles. I think it's time to open Nathan's letter, then deleted it, because Rebecca had just sent her January demand, $6,000, with a new note. Serious discussion about children's future required. The future she envisioned didn't include me, but she didn't know about data sync, or the trust, or the recordings I'd been making since July. All she knew was that Grandpa kept paying, like a good ATM should. Charles Morrison's office felt different in daylight. January sun exposed dust motes floating between law books, like secrets waiting to settle. I'd finally called him after Rebecca's latest ultimatum, $10,000 for Valentine's Day, or the children need to move on from the past. You look tired, Charles said, pouring coffee from the same pot he'd used in law school. I haven't slept through the night since Nathan died. He pulled out 3 folders, red, blue, and green, like a magic trick where I had to pick my fate. Before we open Nathan's letter, he began, you need to understand what he built. Red folder. Inside, incorporation documents for data sync, dating back 5 years. Nathan listed as CEO. His signature on every page looked stronger than his voice had sounded those final months. Your son was brilliant, Charles said. Data sync revolutionized how hospitals manage patient records. Secure, intuitive, HIPAA compliant. 3 major health systems bought in before the acquisition. He told Rebecca it was struggling. He told Rebecca what she needed to hear. Charles opened the blue folder. Bank statements. Nathan maintained a separate account she didn't know about. Look at the deposits. Monthly transfers, small amounts, building over years, notes in Nathan's careful writing. Emma college, Liam future, Dad emergency. He knew she monitored their joint accounts, Charles explained, so he saved quietly, like a digital squirrel preparing for winter. How much? Before the sale, about 90,000. Enough to matter, not enough to change everything. Charles reached for the green folder. Then DataSync sold. The number still felt surreal. $3.2 million. Nathan's share after taxes, lawyer fees, and investor payouts, deposited into an irrevocable trust 2 weeks before his diagnosis. The timing wasn't coincidence. Charles pulled out an email printout. Nathan suspected something was wrong. Headaches, vision problems. He accelerated the sale. To protect it from her? To protect it for them. Charles highlighted specific trust provisions. Rebecca can't touch it. Can't influence it. Can't even know the exact amount unless you decide to tell her. You control distributions until Emma turns 25. What if she takes the kids? Moves away? Page 19. Page 19 detailed contingencies Nathan had considered. Relocation required trustee notification. Adoption required court approval. Any attempt to limit grandparent access triggered automatic legal response funding. Your son wrote this? With my help. But the strategy? Pure Nathan. He said you taught him chess when he was 7. This is chess. Rebecca's playing checkers. The sealed letter sat between us. Nathan's handwriting on cream paper. Dad, open only if she denies you access to Emma and Liam. Has she? I showed him my phone. 52 Venmo transactions, 47 canceled visits, 12 recorded conversations of the children saying I didn't love them. Charles nodded. Open it. Inside, Nathan's words in blue in ink. Dad, if you're reading this, I'm gone and she's shown her true colors. I'm sorry. I should have been stronger. Should have left sooner. But I stayed for them. The trust is your weapon. Use it wisely. She'll escalate when threatened. Document everything. Charles has video files I recorded. Rebecca doesn't know they exist. Don't let her erase me from their lives. Or you. The money is just paper. They're memories of us. That's everything. I love you, Dad. Always have. Even when she made it impossible to show it. Take care of them. Nathan P.S. Check my old Gmail. Password is Mom's maiden name plus the year the Yankees won. You'll understand everything. My hands shook. Charles pretended not to notice. There's more, he said quietly. Nathan installed security cameras. Legal ones. In common areas. They back up to cloud storage Rebecca doesn't know about. What did he record? Enough. Her coaching the children to lie about you. Her meetings with Brandon, starting 18 months before Nathan died. Her emptying his wallet while he slept off chemo. 18 months? Charles pulled up a tablet. January 2022. Nathan was traveling for DataSync. She thought he was in Seattle. The video showed Rebecca and Brandon at a wine bar. His hand on hers, her wedding ring absent. Nathan knew? Nathan documented. Like father, like son, apparently. Charles gestured to my recorder. He'd be proud you're protecting yourself too. I closed the folders, felt the weight of $3.2 million and one dead son's foresight. What now? Now? Charles smiled sadly. Now we wait for Rebecca to overplay her hand. Nathan bet she would. Smart money says he's right. Emma's piano recital was supposed to be neutral ground. Rebecca couldn't deny me attendance at a public school event. She'd tried. 3 emails to the music teacher claiming I was disruptive to Emma's concentration. But Mrs. Patterson, who'd taught Nathan clarinet 20 years ago, wasn't buying it. Your granddaughter specifically requested you attend, she'd informed me. She's playing Clocks by Coldplay, says it was your son's favorite. March 15th, 2025. I arrived 30 minutes early, chose an aisle seat in row 3, close enough to see Emma's fingers, far enough to avoid Rebecca's immediate orbit. Other families filed in. Normal families. Grandparents with cameras. Parents comparing work schedules. The mundane democracy of elementary school events. Rebecca entered at 6:45. Designer dress, fresh highlights, jewelry I recognized as Nathan's grandmother's, and beside her, Brandon, wearing Nathan's college ring. They sat front row center, Rebecca scanning the crowd until she spotted me. Her smile could have frosted windows. "Jaden," her voice carried deliberately. "I didn't know you were coming." "Emma invited me." "Did she?" Rebecca's laugh tinkled like breaking glass. "She's been so confused lately. Poor thing keeps forgetting things. Trauma, the therapist says." Brandon stepped forward, 6'2" of calculated presence. "I'm Brandon. I've heard some things about you." "I'm Emma's grandfather." "Right, the biological one." He emphasized biological like it was a condition requiring treatment. "I'm more of the day-to-day dad figure now." "Emma already has a dad." "Had." Rebecca's correction sliced between us. "She had a dad. Now she has stability. Brandon's been wonderful. Haven't you, honey?" She kissed him. In front of Nathan's daughter's recital. In front of families who'd attended Nathan's funeral 9 months ago. Mrs. Patterson's arrival saved me from responding. "Places, everyone! Our performers are ready!" I returned to my seat. Rebecca's voice followed. "Some people just can't let go of the past. It's really quite sad." The recital began. 22 kids playing everything from hot cross buns to Mozart. I waited for Emma. Watched the door for Liam. He never appeared. "Where's Liam?" I asked a nearby parent I recognized. "Oh, Rebecca said he had a conflict. Brandon's taking him to some sports thing, building male bonds or something." Male bonds. With my grandson, while I sat in an auditorium paying thousands for the privilege of existing. Emma finally took the stage. Spot number 18 of 22. She looked so much like Nathan. Same concentrated expression, same slight head tilt when focusing. Her eyes found me, lit up, then immediately dimmed as she glanced at her mother. "This is Clocks," she announced. "For my dad. He can't be here, but Emma performs Clocks by Coldplay." Mrs. Patterson interrupted cheerfully, but I caught her warning glance at Rebecca. Emma played beautifully. Every note carried Nathan's memory. I recorded it on my phone, knowing this might be my only copy. Applause erupted. Emma stood, bowed, looked directly at me, mouthed something. "Love you, Grandpa?" "Miss you?" I couldn't tell. "Wasn't she amazing?" Rebecca's voice boomed as parents collected their kids. "Brandon's been helping her practice. He's so musical." Brandon, who'd been scrolling his phone throughout the performance. I waited in the hallway to congratulate Emma. Other grandparents did the same. Normal interactions in a normal world I no longer inhabited. Emma emerged with Rebecca's hand clamped on her shoulder. "Grandpa!" She started toward me. "Emma, we discussed this." Rebecca's grip tightened. "Boundaries, remember?" "But I played Dad's song." "Brandon's waiting in the car. Say goodbye quickly." Emma hugged me. 3 seconds. Rebecca counting visibly. "I miss you," Emma whispered. "That's enough." Rebecca pulled her away. "Some people don't understand appropriate boundaries. That's why we need space from toxic influences." "I'm her grandfather." "Are you?" Brandon rejoined us. Liam nowhere in sight. "Because from what I see, you're just some old man who shows up occasionally. I'm here every day. I pack lunches. I help with homework. I'm earning the title. With my money." The words escaped before I could stop them. Rebecca's eyes glittered with opportunity. "Your money? Your money." Her voice pitched for maximum audience. "You mean the guilt payments you throw at us? Blood money to ease your conscience about failing Nathan?" Parents turned. Teachers paused. Mrs. Patterson stepped closer, concern creasing her face. "Rebecca, no. Everyone should know what kind of grandfather abandons his dying son. Where were you during chemo? During radiation? Too busy? Too scared? Or just too selfish? You wouldn't let me." "Security!" Rebecca's performance peaked. "This man is harassing my family. He's unstable. Threatening." The school resource officer appeared, young, confused, trained to de-escalate. "Sir, I need you to come with me." "He's my granddaughter's..." Sir, please, let's handle this outside. I looked at Emma, tears streaming, Brandon's hand on her shoulder where mine should be, Rebecca already composing her social media post about protecting her children from toxic family members. I let the officer escort me out, past the other families, past Mrs. Patterson's horrified expression, past my granddaughter's piano recital, and into the parking lot of consequences. I know Nathan, the officer said quietly outside. Went to school with him. I'm sorry for your loss. Which one? He didn't answer, didn't need to. We both watched through the window as Rebecca comforted Emma, the concerned mother protecting her child from the dangerous grandfather. My phone buzzed. Charles Morrison. She just filed a restraining order. We need to meet. Tonight. The trap had been set. The performance delivered. And Rebecca had no idea she'd just played her last free card. The knock came at 7 a.m. on March 20th. Not aggressive, but official. The kind that announces your life is about to be documented by people with clipboards and consequences. Mr. Webster, I'm Patricia Sullivan from Child Protective Services. We've received a concerning report. Patricia Sullivan stood on my porch with practiced neutrality. Mid-40s, silver-streaking dark hair, eyes that had seen too many real monsters to be fooled by manufactured ones. Behind her, a younger colleague held a tablet and the weight of the state. May we come in? I stepped aside. Would you like coffee? That's kind. Yes. My kitchen hadn't changed since Diane died 5 years ago. Same yellow curtain she'd sewn, same mismatched mugs from various Father's Days. I poured coffee while Patricia surveyed the space, noting the photographs of Nathan and the grandchildren, the clean counters, the calendar marked with every missed visit. Mr. Webster, we've received allegations of financial neglect and emotional manipulation of your grandchildren. From Rebecca. I can't disclose the reporting party. Patricia's tone suggested she didn't need to. But we take all reports seriously. Can you walk me through your relationship with Emma and Liam? For the next hour, I laid out facts. Nathan's death, Rebecca's restrictions, the escalating payments. Patricia took notes without expression, occasionally asking for clarification. You have documentation of these payments? I retrieved my folder. 52 Venmo transactions printed and highlighted. Screenshots of texts. The calendar with red X's through canceled visits. This is thorough, Patricia said, flipping pages. May I ask why you kept such detailed records? My son told me to document everything before he died. He anticipated this? Instead of answering, I pulled out my phone. I should probably play you something. The first recording was from December. Rebecca's voice, clear and casual. Tell Grandpa you don't want to see him. Say it makes you sad. If you do, we'll get ice cream. Liam's small voice. But I do want to see Grandpa. Do you want ice cream or not? Patricia's expression shifted. How many of these do you have? 18 hours worth, all legal. Colorado is a one-party consent state. I know. She made more notes. Continue. I played selected excerpts. Rebecca coaching Emma to cry on cue, telling both children I was sick in the head, explaining how to answer questions if anyone asks about Grandpa's visits. The worst was from February. Rebecca and Brandon thinking the kids were asleep. Brandon, how much this month? Rebecca, $6,000. He'll pay more for Easter. Brandon, God, what a pathetic old man. Rebecca, Nathan's death was the best thing that happened to us. Is that terrible to say? Brandon, just true, babe, just true. Patricia stopped writing. Mr. Webster, I need to ask some difficult questions. Has Rebecca ever indicated the children are in physical danger? No, she's calculating, not violent. Have you ever threatened her or the children? Never. Have you attempted to see them outside the agreed arrangements? I've only seen them when I've paid for the privilege. Patricia's colleague spoke for the first time. The report claims you're unstable, that you've stalked the family. There's mention of a school incident? I explained the recital. The public humiliation, the security escort, Mrs. Patterson, the music teacher, she was there. She saw everything. We'll verify that. Patricia studied me. Mr. Webster, is there anything else relevant to the children's welfare you haven't told me? Decision time. Charles had prepared me for this moment. My son left his children a trust fund. $3.2 million. Rebecca doesn't know it exists. I'm the trustee. The silence stretched. Patricia and her colleague exchanged glances. That's significant information. Why hasn't she been informed? Because Nathan specifically structured it to protect the money from her. He has video evidence of her infidelity, documentation of financial abuse during his illness. He knew what she was capable of. And you've been paying her anyway? To see my grandchildren? Yes. Patricia closed her notebook. Mr. Webster, I've been doing this for 15 years. I've seen grandparents who genuinely pose risks. You're not one of them. She stood. We'll need to interview the children. Rebecca, other witnesses. This process isn't pleasant, but necessary? Very. One more thing. Do you have legal representation? Charles Morrison. He's expecting your call. Patricia smiled. The first crack in professional armor. Good. You'll need him. Rebecca's about to learn that CPS investigates all parties, not just the accused. After they left, I sat in my quiet kitchen, stared at photos of Nathan teaching Emma to ride a bike, Liam on his shoulders at the zoo. Moments Rebecca couldn't erase, though she'd tried. My phone rang. Charles. They've moved up the timeline, he said. Rebecca's pushing for an emergency custody hearing. She wants to terminate your rights entirely. Can she do that? She can try, but Patricia Sullivan just called me. Apparently you made quite an impression. Good or bad? She used the words credible, documented, and concerning allegations about the reporting party. In CPS speak, that's practically a ringing endorsement. So what now? Now we prepare for war, legal war. Rebecca wanted to paint you as unstable? Fine. Let's show the court what stability really looks like. Charles paused. Oh, and Jaden? It's time to tell your lawyer about that trust fund and discovery. Let Rebecca find out in court, with witnesses. That seems cruel, perhaps, but remember, she used your grandchildren as paychecks. Your son saw this coming. We're just following his playbook. That night, I opened Nathan's Gmail. Password, Mom's maiden name plus 1996. Inside, 3 years of preparation. Every receipt Rebecca thought he didn't keep. Every text she thought he'd deleted. Every video she didn't know existed. The final email draft, never sent, dated a week before his diagnosis. Dad, if you're reading this, the worst has happened. Not the cancer. What comes after? She'll use them against you. Don't let her. I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough to stop her while I was alive. But I'm leaving you the tools. Use them. Love, Nathan. I closed the laptop. Tomorrow the real investigation would begin. The courtroom smelled like old paper and fresh lies. April 18th, 2025, 9 a.m., the Honorable Catherine Chen presiding over what Rebecca had filed as an emergency petition for grandparent restraining order with cause. She'd dressed for sympathy. Black suit implying ongoing grief. Tissue clutched but never used. Brandon beside her in Nathan's watch. A calculated insult I'm sure she'd orchestrated. I sat with Charles, wearing the suit I'd worn to Nathan's funeral. Patricia Sullivan occupied the CPS section, her report sealed but present. Your Honor, Rebecca's lawyer began, my client has endured months of harassment from Mr. Webster. Despite her attempts to protect her grieving children, he continues to insert himself inappropriately into their lives. The lawyer, young, aggressive, clearly billing by the hour, painted me as unhinged, obsessed, dangerous, each word crafted to erase 40 years of being Nathan's father. He shows up uninvited. He manipulates the children with promises. He even caused a public disturbance at young Emma's recital, requiring security intervention. Judge Chen took notes, impassive, professional. Furthermore, the lawyer continued, Mr. Webster has used financial coercion, creating an unhealthy dynamic where the children associate him with transactions rather than genuine affection. Objection, Charles said calmly. Characterization. Sustained. Stick to facts, counselor. Rebecca took the stand first, performed grief with practiced precision, dabbed dry eyes, voice catching at rehearsed moments. I just want to protect my babies, she said. Nathan would be horrified to see his father buying access to our children. It's not healthy. Brandon has been wonderful, a stable male figure, but Jaden undermines that stability. How so? Her lawyer prompted. He confuses them, shows up with expensive gifts, makes promises he can't keep. The children cry for days after his visits. Has he ever threatened you? Not physically, but emotionally, constantly. Those payments, they're not gifts. They're leverage, manipulation. Charles stood for cross-examination, adjusted his glasses, smiled like a chess player seen checkmate in 3 moves. Mrs. Webster, you mentioned payments. Can you clarify what payments? Child support, gifts, whatever you want to call them. I'm looking at Exhibit A, your Venmo history. These payments from Mr. Webster. The notes are interesting. Grandparent access fee. That's your wording? Rebecca shifted. I don't recall. Exhibit B might refresh your memory. Screenshot from December. You wrote, quote, 10,000 for Christmas morning or find somewhere else to celebrate. Did you send that? Taken out of context. Is that your phone number? Yes. Exhibit C, January. Serious discussion about children's future required. New rate, 6,000 monthly. Now your words, Rebecca's lawyer objected. Overruled. Charles continued systematically destroying her narrative. You testified the children cry after visits. Yet Exhibit D, your own Instagram posts, shows them smiling with their grandfather, posted with the caption, family time. Were you lying then or now? Objection! Withdrawn. Mrs. Webster, when did Brandon move into your home? I don't see how that's relevant. Answer the question, Judge Chen instructed. October 2024, 3 months after your husband's death? We were friends. He helped with the children. Just friends? Exhibit E, credit card records showing jewelry purchases, hotel stays, and couples massage appointments dating back to January 2022. While your husband was alive? Rebecca's composure cracked. Nathan was sick for a long time. 18 months before his diagnosis? Silence. Charles pivoted. Let's discuss the CPS report you filed. You claim Mr. Webster was neglecting the children financially? He was. The payments stopped. Because you demanded $10,000 for a single visit? The children have needs? Indeed, which is why Nathan created a trust fund for them. The courtroom shifted. Rebecca's lawyer looked confused. Rebecca went white. What trust fund? Charles smiled. Your Honor, I'd like to call Charles Morrison as witness. I'll be conducting direct examination of myself, if the court permits. Judge Chen, now fully engaged, nodded. Charles was sworn in, then essentially interviewed himself, a bizarre but legal maneuver. Mr. Morrison, what is your relationship to the Webster family? I was Nathan Webster's attorney and friend. I also serve as co-trustee of the Emma and Liam Webster Irrevocable Trust. Can you describe this trust? Nathan established it in January 2024, funded with $3.2 million from the sale of his company, DataSync. Mr. Jaden Webster serves as primary trustee. Rebecca's gasp echoed. Brandon grabbed her hand. Why wasn't Mrs. Webster informed? Nathan's instructions were explicit. He provided video evidence of financial malfeasance and infidelity. He wanted to protect his children's assets from potential exploitation. Objection! Rebecca's lawyer scrambled. This is ambush litigation. The trust's existence is material to accusations of financial neglect, Charles countered. Mr. Webster has been paying Mrs. Webster from his pension while safeguarding millions for the children's future. Hardly neglectful. Judge Chen called for a recess. 20 minutes of Rebecca melting down in the hallway, visible through the door's window. Brandon pacing. Their lawyer frantically making calls. When we reconvened, Patricia Sullivan testified. Professional. Devastating. Our investigation found no evidence supporting claims against Mr. Webster. However, we documented concerning behavior from the reporting party. Audio recordings show coaching of minor children to lie. Financial exploitation. Emotional manipulation. She played excerpts. Rebecca telling Emma to cry about Grandpa. Liam being bribed. The ice cream conversation. Our recommendation, Patricia concluded, immediate family therapy, supervised exchanges, and investigation to potential parental alienation. Dr. Sarah Coleman followed, the children's therapist, court-appointed, neutral. Both children express deep affection for their grandfather, but report feeling confused about why they can't see him. Emma specifically said, "Mom says Grandpa doesn't love us, but I know he does. I just can't say that." The final witness was unexpected. Mrs. Patterson, the music teacher. "I've known the Webster family for 20 years. The recital incident was manufactured drama. Mr. Webster sat quietly until Mrs. Webster created a scene. Security confirmed he posed no threat. They removed him to de-escalate her behavior, not his." Charles's closing argument was surgical. "Your Honor, we have a grandfather who paid $50,000 just to maintain contact with grieving grandchildren, a widow who monetized that grief, a trust fund proving Mr. Webster has always prioritized the children's welfare, and CPS findings that suggest the real threat to these children isn't the man paying for love, it's the woman selling it." Rebecca's lawyer tried damage control, painted her as a struggling widow, overwhelmed, making mistakes but loving her children. Judge Chen deliberated for an hour, returned with a ruling that rewrote our family's future. The court finds no basis for a restraining order against Mr. Webster. Furthermore, given evidence of parental alienation and financial exploitation, this court orders immediate intervention. She outlined the new reality: regular grandparent visitation, family therapy, financial audit of how Rebecca spent the $50,000, and most significantly, the trust fund revelation raises serious questions about the children's best interests. Mr. Webster will maintain his role as trustee with full authority over distributions. Any attempt to interfere with grandparent access will trigger review of primary custody. Rebecca sobbed, real tears this time. Brandon's mask slipped, revealing calculation giving way to fury. But Emma and Liam, they were finally free to love their grandfather without a price tag. The aftermath played out like dominoes falling in slow motion. Each piece Rebecca had carefully placed collapsed, taking others with it. First came the texts. April 19th, 3:47 a.m. "You destroyed my life. Nathan would be ashamed. Those children will hate you when they know the truth. Enjoy your blood money, old man." I screenshot them all. Charles had warned me she'd spiral. Narcissistic collapse, he'd called it. When the mask doesn't just slip, it shatters. By noon, Rebecca's Facebook became a masterclass in self-destruction, post after post, about corrupt courts and elder abuse. She tagged Nathan's former colleagues, accusing me of stealing from my own grandchildren, claimed the judge was biased, posted photos of Nathan from his final days with captions about how I'd abandoned him to die alone. The comments started supportive, her echo chamber rallying, but then Mrs. Patterson commented, "This isn't what I witnessed." Others followed, parents from Emma's school, Nathan's actual friends who knew the truth. The real blow came from DataSync's CEO, who'd remained silent until now. Nathan specifically asked us to protect his father from this situation. "We have emails. Please stop." Rebecca deleted the posts. Too late. Screenshots spread through our community like wildfire. The mask hadn't just slipped. It had been ripped off in front of everyone. Brandon lasted exactly 6 days. I watched from my car as he loaded boxes into a U-Haul. Rebecca screaming from the porch, "You said you loved me. You said we were building something." His response carried across the lawn, "I said a lot of things. The money's gone, Rebecca. What else is there?" The children were at school. Small mercies. May 1st brought our first official visitation. I waited in the mediator's office, hands shaking. Would they remember me as Grandpa or as the man Mom said didn't love them? Emma entered first, cautious. Then, "Grandpa!" She ran into my arms. Liam followed, quieter but smiling. "Mom says we have to be here," Emma whispered. "But I wanted to come. Is that bad?" "No, sweetheart, that's good. That's very good." 2 hours, supervised but real. We played cards, talked about school. Nobody mentioned money. The mediator later noted, children appeared genuinely happy and comfortable with grandfather. Rebecca's professional life crumbled next. Someone, I never learned who, sent her employer the court transcripts. A marketing manager who'd been caught coaching children to lie and extorting the elderly didn't align with company values. Her LinkedIn quietly changed from senior marketing manager at TechFlow Industries to seeking new opportunities. The financial audit revealed predictable truths. $50,000 meant for the children had funded. Brandon's golf membership, $12,000. Rebecca's grief retreat in Cabo, $8,000. A new wardrobe, $15,000. Cosmetic procedures, $11,000. 2 payments on a leased Mercedes, $4,000. $0 on actual therapy for grieving children. Misappropriation of funds obtained through emotional extortion, Patricia Sullivan's report stated. She recommended extended supervision and mandatory financial counseling, but the real consequences were quieter, deeper. Emma started calling again. "Hi, Grandpa. Just wanted to hear your voice." Simple words that meant everything. Liam asked if he could keep a photo of Nathan in his room. Mom put them all away. She said it made her sad. "But I want to remember Daddy." I printed 20 photos that afternoon. Nathan at every age. Nathan with them. Nathan alive and laughing and present. The trust fund began its true purpose. Music lessons for Emma. She'd inherited Nathan's ear. Sports equipment for Liam. Actual therapy with Dr. Coleman. College savings growing quietly. Rebecca fought every expenditure at first. Filed complaints about unnecessary expenses when I bought them winter coats. Claimed therapy was manipulating them against her. Each objection got dismissed. Each tantrum documented. The court's patience worn thinner with every filing. June brought the inevitable. Rebecca's parents called. "We're concerned she's not herself," talking about conspiracies, saying Nathan's speaking to her through dreams, warning her about you. They took her to stay with them in Michigan. Temporary, they said, until she stabilizes. Brandon surfaced on dating apps within a month. Profile photos included several taken in Nathan's house, the watch still on his wrist. But July brought something better. Emma's first unsupervised overnight. We made Nathan's favorite pancakes for breakfast. She helped mix the batter. "Grandpa, Mom used to say you didn't love us enough to visit. But that wasn't true, was it?" "No, sweetheart, that wasn't true." "I knew it. Daddy told me in a dream. He said you love us more than all the stars, just like you used to tell him." I held my granddaughter while she talked about her father. No price tag, no conditions, just love. Finally free to exist without a Venmo receipt. The aftermath was messy, painful, public, but Nathan's children were safe, his money protected, his father finally allowed to be what I'd always been, their grandpa. September brought new rhythms. Every Saturday, 9 a.m., Emma and Liam at my door with overnight bags and genuine smiles. No invoices, no negotiations, just the ordinary miracle of grandchildren who wanted to be there. "Grandpa, can we make Dad's special eggs?" Liam asked one morning. He meant Nathan's ridiculous everything omelet, whatever leftovers existed plus cheese. Always too much cheese. Absolutely. We cooked together. Emma set the table with Diane's good plates. "Grandma would like that we use them," she announced. "Things are meant to be used, not saved for special. Every day with family is special." Where had she heard that? Then I remembered. Nathan used to say it. Some echoes survive everything. Rebecca had stabilized, according to her parents. Found a job, started therapy, sent letters through the court expressing remorse. "I lost myself in grief," she wrote. "I see that now." Charles advised caution. Personality disorders don't cure themselves in 6 months, but people can learn better behavior patterns. Time will tell. The letters to the children came monthly, appropriate, supervised. No manipulation, just updates. "I'm learning to be a better mom. I love you both. Grandpa is taking good care of you." Progress. October 15th would have been Nathan's 40th birthday. I planned nothing elaborate, just his favorite dinner and stories. But Emma had other ideas. "We need a party," she announced. Not sad, happy, like Dad would want. So we planned. Liam made decorations. Emma baked a cake from scratch, lopsided, but made with love. I invited Charles, Mrs. Patterson, even Patricia Sullivan, who'd become an unexpected ally. The morning of, a package arrived. Rebecca's handwriting. Inside, Nathan's Yankees cap and a note. "This belongs with you. I'm sorry I kept it from both of you." Small steps. The party was perfect chaos. Charles told embarrassing law school stories. Mrs. Patterson brought videos of Nathan's middle school clarinet concerts. Patricia brought her teenage son who taught Liam card tricks. Emma insisted on speeches. Everyone say one thing about my dad. The stories flowed. Nathan debugging code at 3 a.m., Nathan rescuing dogs, Nathan learning to braid Emma's hair from YouTube tutorials. Then Liam. My dad was sick, but he still smiled. He told me taking care of people we love is the most important job, like Grandpa takes care of us now. The room went quiet. I found my voice. Your dad was the best thing I ever did, and you two are his best things. He loved you more than all the stars. More than all the stars, they echoed. Later, after guests left and children slept, I sat with Nathan's final letter, the one I'd read 100 times. Dad, they'll test every boundary you set. Hold them anyway. Not from anger, but from love. Boundaries aren't walls. They're load-bearing beams. They hold up the house so everyone inside stays safe. Even Rebecca, eventually. She's broken too, but the kids come first. Always the kids. Thank you for being the dad I could count on. Be that for them now. The trust fund grew quietly. Emma's piano lessons revealed real talent. Liam joined Little League, terrible but enthusiastic. Normal childhood things that $50,000 in extortion had tried to buy, but couldn't. November brought unexpected peace. Rebecca requested a meeting. Just us, in public, mediated. I need to apologize, she began, not for legal reasons, for real ones. I listened. Nathan tried to tell me about his childhood, how you never missed anything, how you worked doubles to pay for his computer camp. I wouldn't hear it. I needed you to be the villain because... She paused. Because if you weren't, then I was. We all grieve differently. No, don't excuse it. I used his death, used the children, used your love against you. Real tears this time. I can't undo that, but I can stop doing it. What do you need? Time to earn back trust. To be the mother Nathan believed I could be. She slid a paper across. I'm signing away claim to the trust. It was never mine anyway. Charles would verify the documents. Trust but verify. Always verify. December now, a year and a half since Nathan's death. Emma practicing Christmas carols for the school concert. Liam building elaborate Lego cities. Rebecca sharing custody without lawyers. Brandon a bad memory fading. Some nights I dream Nathan's here, proud of his children, grateful for the boundaries that saved them, amused that his backup plans needed backup plans, but worked exactly as designed. Love you more than all the stars, Dad, he says in dreams. Love you too, son. Always have. Always will. The doorbell rings. Saturday again. My grandchildren arriving for another ordinary, precious weekend. No price tags, no conditions. Just love. Finally, just love. If you've stayed through this whole story, thank you. Hold your families close. Set boundaries from love, not anger. And remember, actions do matter more than words, but only when they match.